Hello and welcome to another episode of Our Own Devices. We're going to talk about something that's very close to all of us, right? It's something that we all use, and before the smartphone came into the picture, this was the in thing. This was the gadget that we all grew up on. At least I grew up on that, right? And that I guess you would have guessed by now that this is the one thing that we all used to get scolded for spending too much time in front of, and that is the television. With us this time is Sudeep Sahu of Xiaomi to tell us what's happening in the space of televisions, which are getting smarter, bigger, larger, sharper, all of that. Uh, Sudeep, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Very glad to be here. I think we've been trying to, make this happen for a long time, and I'm very happy that if I found a time together to go and sit and talk and chat about what's happening in the world of TVs. For
Yes.
people who don't know me, my name is Sudeep. I lead the smart TV product side at Xiaomi India, and yeah, so I'm again happy to answer all the questions. From a TV perspective, to give you a brief, we started our business a few years ago. We entered the market, and we started with the iconic Me TV for the super slim TV. As some of you guys might remember that TV from the 2018. That was the first TV. So we've come a long way. Smart TVs have become smarter, as you said. They are becoming more and more better each day as we speak. And over the past journey and in the last 4 years, there are, few things that has happened in the sense the internet, as we know, right? The geos of the world and the internet became more and more affordable, and Xiaomi was at the right time where we introduced this TV. And it was not about just introducing a TV, right? Or that particular TV. It was also the support of all the content that was being produced and put out there. I think back in the day we had less than 10 content applications with on our patch wall. But today I think you will be at least spending a few minutes, if not hours, trying to find what content to watch that is to your liking. So yeah, we've come a long way.
Watching is that. My entire TV watching is figuring out what to watch.
Yeah,
And then
so
figuring out, I've again not found what to watch. So, like another day of surfing.
yeah, I mean, again, it is what it is, right? Today we have been spoiled for options, and it's a great thing. And again, like you said, even I grew up with a so-called idiot box, right? I used to get scolding for not doing my homework or watching too much, playing games, video games on the TV. But yeah, again, today the TV, the content it's just out there. You name it, in the type of content, the type of genre of content, it's available, and all thanks to the availability of new age smart TVs, if I may call that. Because let's be honest, there were smart TVs before Xiaomi entered the market, but they were not truly smart, right? But the truly smart TV that we have been seeing in the last 4.5 5 years has completely changed the way we have been consuming, and the content habit also has changed. So again, the whole ecosystem is going forward with us, and I think we have, again, Xiaomi has been played us probably a decent part in pushing that needle and helping people come to this side of the smart TV world.
So, every time I've had a chance to speak with somebody who is in the TV business, and especially if it's a company that also does smartphones, I ask this question: is it like a natural progression to build TVs for a smartphone company? Because if you look at the technology, if you look at what powers a television now, the TV is pretty much a extra large smartphone, right? Because a lot of the functionality is the same. A lot of the UI UX is similar. It sort of grows from where a smartphone was. Is that right? Do you actually bring in a lot of learning from your smartphone space to create a television?
So, good question. So the thing is, when again, smartphone and smart TV, while they seems to be, there's some form of similarities, but the way you design a smart TV or the way you approach the software in a smart TV is very very different than a smartphone. Fundamentally, yes, at the end of the day they are Android, so we use Android as our base platform. Then there are multiple operating systems out there, like there's Fire TV OS, there's this Tizen OS, there's LG's web OS, right? So there are different OSs, and all of this, if you notice, all of these operating systems are tweaked particularly for the TV consumption. So yes, while at one point it looks the same, but it's not necessarily that okay, I'm doing smartphone, let me go and do smart TVs. If I have to jog back my memory, and we've been trying to do smart TVs for a very very long time, right? But 2018 I think was the right time, and of course we were planning this little earlier. It was the right time to bring smart TV, because back then most people, if not all, they used to think us a TV, if I can watch my phone's content in a bigger screen or a larger screen, that is a smart TV. Case in point, Miracast was, and a browser having these two things, and a, let's say a Wi-Fi connection. So there were the three key things:
And the
Bluetooth,
USB pen drive.
and a USB. Of course, you have to plug in, and because let's be honest, right? Content was not streaming was not the one stop solution for everyone, right? So back then, these three things: connectivity to the internet, able to browse on a larger screen, and mirroring, which is literally the Miracast is the mirroring your smartphone, was smart TV. And in the early days after we launched our smart TVs, even then most people, for them, they were still doing Miracast. We had to go and educate customers. Hey, listen, you already have that application. No need to go and mirror. So smart TVs fundamentally were there before even we entered, but from where we came, we wanted to relook at the whole experience, or you may say the user interaction, right? How they interact with the smart TV. So the whole concept of patchwork was born. Again, it was all, we had to rethink how to do it in India, because India is a little different market, and we did some innovation back then. So the whole idea was to bring this whole concept of the world of content into the foreground, so that people don't have to go and like jump into different applications, but also at the same time we wanted to have all the applications or all the content of on the smart TVs, and not just a box with just connectivity to mirroring a phone, or let's say just connecting to Wi-Fi. So fundamentally, it seems, while it seems similar, but we kind of came and brought a real or a true smart TV experience, I would say, to more and more people. I think that is where our strength lies. We went and shipped a lot of millions of smart TVs. So I think while it seems natural, maybe it's not very easy. Smart TV is a whole different world. There's their own set of challenges. It's not very easy to just go and like, okay, let's just change the chipset, or let's just go and change too many things. There is so many things that you can only do in a smart TV. So yeah.
I remember a conversation with Hugo, many years ago when Xiaomi was sort of coming up as a new brand, and I remember him telling me something very interesting, and I always think about Xiaomi with that context. He had told me pricing is also innovation, and when I see the Xiaomi. And when I see the Xiaomi smart TVs across any size, any type, any screen type, all of that, it always is innovating on the price. It's giving you a price that is not there otherwise, right? So is that something that you guys constantly strive for even as you move into newer categories?
Of course, that's. I think India as a market, as everybody knows, is very very critical. The way you price your products, you can have the best of features, but if you don't price it right at a particular category or a particular laddering, it's not gonna fly with people, right? So when we were thinking about smart TVs, right? That was one of the key things. There was, if I have to look back, 2017, 2016, Android TVs were 70,000 and above. Now for us, we were very sure that no matter if you launch a 32-inch TV or the biggest of the sizes, again, till date we have done 75, but back then we were thinking about 55-inch, right? So even if you do either of the spectrum, the user experience has to be exactly the same. That was our fundamental philosophy when we were building the software. We knew that we had to bring this true, or a true smart TV or a real smart TV experience to the 32-inch TVs also. Otherwise, it's not gonna, and again, like you said, the pricing has to be very, very critical. So when we came to the market, I think it created a lot of disruption and nobody was offering Android smart TV. And as we have gone on our journey in the last 4.5 years, I think we have had different series which caters to different, obviously, objectives. Each product needs to have certain set of features, but at the same time also needs to be aware, okay, I cannot go beyond certain threshold, right? Otherwise, there is no upper limit when you're building a product. It's as easy as, managing your, we all, let's say I play fantasy football league or any league. You have limited budgets always. It's so is the case when you're building any product. So while you assess the market, you know where the majority of the market lies, but at the same time you also have to have certain differentiation in terms of laddering, when it's not just product but also in terms of pricing, so that you cater to each category's need. So yes, pricing is super, super important. While that is very important, at the same time you also ensure there is this balance between the right set of need, what you think and what your consumer wants. Sometimes it so happen you might be thinking, okay, let me just keep adding more stuff and make it so much better, like 30% better than the competition. But you have to be very aware, what does that consumer wants, let's say a sub 15,000 TV, right? You have to strike that balance so that you have the right ingredients. At the same time, you also are better than your competition. So at the end of the day, we take, different series are there for the same reason. Let's say we have a Redmi and a Xiaomi lineup. We cater to different sort of needs, so that we cover the majority of, or the entire universe in the smart TV space, but at the same time also keep an eye on that price.
As you mentioned, this laddering, have you seen the Indian customer, and you guys have been here for a few years now, have you seen a progression in the Indian customer? People are moving to larger screens, especially driven by this pandemic demand that maybe not of everybody's now comfortable going to a cinema all the time to watch their favorite movie. They are bringing the big screen experience home, and it helps that a lot of the movies now end up in your living room. Even if it has a theatrical release, it's in your living room in maybe 2 weeks, right? So is that sort of triggering people moving to larger screens inside the home?
Of course, of course. So we have seen that phenomenon. So if I take the first 2 years of our operations in India, right, majority of the market was the 24 to 32 inch.
Yeah.
Now, within the first 2 years, we already saw a shift. Most that market of like 24-inch and below was like literally vanished, right? And today, uh, practically everything is smart TV, right? You just go to the market. There's everything only a smart TV, which is not the case. That is the first significant shift that we saw. People moving to 32-inch and above. So that is the first step. Second thing that we have noticed in the last 2 years, like you said, we were all stuck at home. For us, entertainment was the TV, right? We did see a rise in people opting for 4K. That is one phenomenon that happened. Again, it happens with the ecosystem, right? You have more 4K content coming, more players pushing out content in 4K. At the same time, people moving to 4K. The other thing that we've also seen, the bigger screen sizes also have started taking, their putting the proper footing in the whole scheme of things. While your smaller sizes are the majority, we also see a lot of people moving up the ladder in terms of sizes. So there are three things happen. The third, 24 and below sort of like completely moved. People move to 4K, but at the same time, people also moving to larger sizes. So it's not very uncommon for people having a 50-inch or a 55-inch TV, which is not the case, let's say, 4 years ago.
Is it right to say in a way that 4K, like we used to have full HD as the standard for a few years. Now we are gradually moving to 4K as the standard. That's something people expect when they buy a new TV, especially these years.
So it again, 4K is definitely more of a future proof, right? So for example, what we have seen is, let's say, 43-inch full HD and 4K, right? So we are slowly seeing people more inclined to the 4K part, because they know, okay, let me put some extra money, but I also have that future proofing of 4K panel, so that maybe today I don't want to subscribe to the 4K OTT guys or the plans that provide you 4K streaming, but maybe in 6 months time or 1 year's time I can start streaming 4K content. So yes, 4K, along with the size, we are seeing a trend. People generally tending to future proofing. Case in point, let's which I just shared with you.
You guys also recently launched the OLED screens in India, right? So is that also like, how are you seeing the traction on that? Because OLED has been there for a few years. It's been considered a very premium product. But
Yes.
again, Xiaomi entering that space means, again, you are bringing it. You're making that segment more accessible to people. So how are you seeing the take up on that?
So OLED for us was a step that has not just happened overnight, right? If you think about how a couple of years ago, starting 2020, we started taking foraying into the premium smartphone more and more. So you start seeing more of the Xiaomi. So the same sort of philosophy we also took to our TV lineup, right? So if you notice, we started it with the QLED 55, then the 75-inch. The idea was to bring the premium smart TV experience to more and more people. And for us today, if you look at it, in 55-inch TV, you have various options just from Xiaomi, right? You have the Redmi X55, you have the Xiaomi 5X55, you have the QLED 55. But we also knew that there are some people who want the ultimate in picture technology, and OLED for me and for a lot of folks, we know that that is the best or the most premium that you can get when it comes to picture technology. So we wanted to bring that and have that option for people. Of course, it comes with like amazing picture clarity, and it has its own advantages. And yeah, that is for us. That was the idea to bring the most premium product that we can build to India. Of course, OLED has been there, and we wanted to have our options also available. So there is the Redmi series, there's the Mi series, there is the QLED series. Now you have the OLED series. So in just a 51 size, you have all these options available for consumers.
Other thing, we touched upon it a little bit earlier, so as see, every TV is a smart TV now,
Yeah.
and people are expecting a certain level of smartness, that is access to all sorts of apps and all of these things. But there is also a level of intelligence that TVs themselves are gaining, right? Especially in terms of content recommendation, because it should gradually know the kind of stuff that you see. Almost all TV brands have one hub, which is maybe looking at all your experiences across different OTT apps and stuff, and maybe recommending stuff to you. Is that something Xiaomi is also cognizant of? How do you work on creating that intelligence within your operating system itself?
That's a very good question. Again, personalization, as easy as it sounds, is very,
It's
very
tough.
difficult to do. The key reason here being, in OTT space, you have so many different players, right? While you have our operating system, it's a little difficult to build on the existing platforms. We have been thinking about personalization. We have taken baby steps. If you go to Patchworld today, you can actually go and select certain languages that you understand, so that we can first filter that out and show you recommendations from movies and TV shows only in those languages. Again, you can select, for example, you might be speaking 3 or 4 languages, right? So you can go and choose these set of languages, and Patch will automatically refresh their such suggestions or recommendations on the movie section and the TV show section. So that is sort of like the first layer that we have done. Again, the team has been thinking, has been working. How do you take it to the next step, right? I think to do that, first you have to understand your consumer. What are they liking, right? To do any recommendation, you need to first understand them. So I think we have a long way to go. It's something that we have been constantly thinking, constantly working on. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen for everybody at the same time, right? So you'll have certain set of partners who will be willing to work with you, because you know um, we, being the number one sort of like smart TV brand, right? We have that onus of leading the forefront in innovations like this, and bringing forth, and in TV this has not been done at a large scale, right? And with across all the OTT. So we have been talking to multiple partners. We have ideas. It's just little, we're not there yet. The tech is not ready yet, I would say, but we will get there one day. So the idea is what you exactly said, right? When I turn on the TV should show me what I want to watch, and if not 100% hit, it should be, in the larger, like 80% or 85% of hit, from a suggestion perspective. So yes, I think someday we will get there. We are not like there yet, but we're not very far, to be honest. So it's all about baby steps, taking step by step. So personalization is, like I said, is the first, but we will work closely with partners to figure what is the next step and how do you make this personalization better.
As an ecosystem company, you have products across the range, and I remember from pens to screwdrivers, to to TVs and whatnot. So how important is it for devices to talk to each other? Like, you have a smartphone, you have a TV, at the same time you have maybe a lot of other things in the, and a lot of your users are people who are very brand conscious, who are Xiaomi fans in a way, and will have a lot of stuff in their room. So how important, or is it really important for these devices to talk to each other, create a mesh of their own, be intelligent in that sense?
Yeah, I think we have done that in some ways. If you think about the Mi Home app, right? You already have that on your phone,
Yeah.
and when we were doing when we launched Smart TV, this application was not even there, right? So while we launched a lot of these other products, we also realized, for some people, smart TVs, it's not just about consuming content, it's also about interacting with them. So we went and literally wrote the Mi Home app from ground up for the smart TVs, right? So that you can watch the Mi Smart security camera that we launched a few years ago. You can turn on and off the robo vacuum cleaner that was launched during the pandemic. So device talking to each other is super super critical. um, like it's not enough if you can just stream your content anymore, right? You need to talk to devices, you need to interact with devices in the most convenient and easiest way. It cannot be cumbersome. So if you see our application of the Mi Home app on the Xiaomi smart TVs, is actually very different and very minimalistic, right? It's this basic function to interact and come out. But while as on the phone, you have so many touch points. So it's a smartphone, so you can go and do certain things. So when we build all of these things, we also take care of now that there is a large screen format, and how does that interface looks like with the minimalist, with the least steps involved and the least buttons involved, so that it doesn't get overwhelmed. Because at the end of the day, you just want to like see and interact and come back. You're not gonna go and do a lot of heavy work, right? So for that, you have the smartphone, which is always there for you. So yes, um, devices communicating with each other is very very critical. We work with Google Assistant, we work with Alexa. Most of our devices do talk to each other. Of course, I'm sure one day will come where all of these different worlds will start talking together. But right now we go and implement, I know, the Google Assistant stream of things and the Alexa thing of stream of things, and we let users choose how they want to talk and interact with the consumer.
I have one last question before we wind up, Sudeep. Uh, if you can do a little bit of crystal ball gazing, what do you think are the next big things which are going to come into the TV space?
Wow. If I have
What are the
to,
things that you are most excited about?
um, I think, for me personally, smart TVs, if I have to talk purely from a TV technology perspective, there is a lot of new technologies out there that will soon, become more and more common. There is mini LEDs, and there's, QD OLEDs. There are a lot of new technologies, and picture, if you think about the pure hardware side of things, the picture side of things, that gets evolved every, a decade or so, right? So you had the CRTs and then the LEDs. I think in the next decade we will see more and more of the existing technology becoming more and more accessible, but at the same time you also have newer technologies coming down. In the audio space, I feel TV has come a long way. I foresee, more and more people being, getting into the whole audio side of things, and not just in the headphones, but also expecting that from the TV. So that's why you see a lot of these devices coming with the latest of, the Dolbys and the DTS technologies that our TVs also come with. But from a software side, if I have to purely talk about, I think people, the biggest thing that can happen in the next 10 years is definitely personalization. which is again is not very easy in the TV world because of the way the ecosystem is built. But I foresee one, personalization in the software side of things becoming like people will expect it to be there, otherwise it's not going to be a smart TV. It's having 30 different applications is not going to be enough. Like we are speaking today, what 4 years ago what smart TV was, maybe 10 years down the line people will say, okay, just having 30 application was not the definition of smart TV. And like I mentioned, different assistants talking to each other, all the devices talking to each other without a boundary. I feel we will definitely head there in some way or the other. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I feel and I truly hope that one day the devices talking to each other will not be dependent on what type of operating system was there, or which brand of operating system that you went to. I think they will all start talking to each other. I think that's my hope, and I think it might happen if soon, if not sooner, at least little later.
I'm so happy, Sudeep, that you did not say that the next big thing is going to be a 150-inch TV. So, because my house definitely can't fit something like that. But thanks a lot for being on the show. It was a fascinating conversation with a lot of insight.
Thank you so much. I was really glad to be here, and I hope your listeners have got some insights on what we do and how things are in the smart TV space. Thank you.
Absolutely. You were listening to Sudeep Sahu of Xiaomi. We'll be back again next week with another guest and a lot of more interesting conversation. This is Nandagopal Rajan signing off, and we are available everywhere you listen to your podcast.